Tens of millions of people set New Year's resolutions every year, and many of them give up on them within the first month. In fact, at about this time, according to a 2019 survey conducted by Strava, which is a service to track physical activity, 80% of people who made New Year's resolutions abandoned them by the second week of January. For more, Caroline Fenkel joins me now. She is the co-founder and chief clinical officer at Charlie Health. So why do these resolutions do they fail? And should we think that if people are quitting by now that they've actually accomplished something by getting this far, or is it kind of inevitable?
Yeah, it's a great question. New Year's resolutions are really tough because the word resolution is so black and white, right? It's I either accomplished it or I didn't accomplish it. The other problem, too, with New Year's resolutions is that oftentimes they're vague. So there's not a ton of action that is put behind them with specific goals to measure up against whether or not you made that resolution. And, finally, the behaviors that people choose around New Year's resolutions oftentimes are not very simple. They're not things that you can just stop doing. They frequently are part of a deeper, more systemic issue that's going on with you. And unfortunately, if resolutions did work, I don't think that we would have some of the issues that we have here in this country.
So, Caroline, when you talk about those bigger, so people basically try to eat the whole Megillah in one bite, right? So what would some of those bigger systemic things be that people might make resolutions that are too big to finish? What might some of those topics be?
Yeah, so things as simple as I want to start drinking less or I want to stop drinking, things like I want to start eating healthy, I want to start exercising more. Sometimes these are things that are so big, right? They're oftentimes when people are wishing to try and avoid something, or at other times they're in a situation where they want to really focus on trying to make themselves better. And the problem with that is just simply that if you, for example, have generations of alcoholism in your family, saying, I want to drink less or I want to stop drinking as a New Year's resolution, it's just not that simple.
So is the goal to basically turn it into something small or not make these resolutions at all and find some other way to improve your situation in life if you, like me and the rest of us, have things we'd nevertheless like to fix?
Yeah. So I think first and foremost, we have to start by changing the language. Instead of a New Year's resolution where you can either fail or not fail, setting an intention, a New Year's resolution intention. And then it tells you for this year, this is the intention that I want to make. And if I don't do that, it's okay, because I have no idea what the next year is going to bring to me. Another thing that we oftentimes as psychologists talk about is this idea of breaking it up by month. So having a theme of the month. For example, saying that, September is going to be mindfulness month, and I'm going to be focused on mindfulness for that month. November is going to be focused on family time. So breaking that up by month is oftentimes really helpful instead of setting just one resolution for all 12 months. In addition to that, one of the things that we recommend is before setting that intention is really tracking, right? So if one of your intentions, for example, is to eat healthy, taking the time to track and take a diary of what you're eating every day and then set up your goals. It's not just I want to eat healthy, but instead, if you look at, over the past week, I didn't really eat very many vegetables. Next week, I'm going to try and eat 3 servings of vegetables. Being able to make them really specific and tracking before you make those goals can oftentimes set you up for success.
All right, Caroline Fenkel, thank you so much for being with us.